Hey everyone, it's Tuesday and it's 3 o'clock, and that means it's Tech Tuesday. I am here with Marty Kukul, and as you can see, we're going to be showing a tool today for fiber diagnostics. Be right back. Thanks for joining me, Rick Uzzi, again here with Z-Quorum, and with me is Marty Kukul. Marty is a solutions architect, engineer type with our company, and we wanted to show a tool today. If you are a fiber operator and you've got different kinds of fiber equipment, maybe you've got one type of fiber equipment, but you'd like to have maybe try something else out. We've got a tool. It's a provisioning and kind of configuration and provisioning management system for fiber. And quite often when you get fiber equipment, you are limited in what you can use to maybe provision your devices, maybe get some monitoring and those kinds of things, some diagnostics. And a lot of times for smaller operators, it's kind of expensive to get those vendor products. Plus, it also will lock you into a particular vendor. So we've got this tool that we have called FiberVU. And one of the things about this tool is it works with a lot of the smaller types of vendor gear, OLTs, that you might not see tools for. And then also it works for some stuff that you can't even use in this country. So I wanted to point out that you've got equipment like Huawei and ZTE, but then you've got some other smaller operators like FiberHome and some others that this actually supports that. So we don't sell this product in the United States for the equipment that can't be used here, like Huawei and ZTE, but certainly there are other countries in Asia, Latin America, Europe that are using that equipment that it can be used there. And then also this equipment supports some other devices that you can use in this country, including actually Nokia and Calix. Welcome, Marty. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you. So, yeah, and this is any comments on that? I know that we talk to people all the time that have got fiber equipment. What are you finding that their challenges are? Is it
Yeah, and you're right on the point whenever you're talking about being locked into one vendor. If you are using a specific vendor for configuration, then usually you're going to have to rely on their equipment or their management system or something to do that configuration, and it can be costly to the smaller providers. And this is a great tool for something like that. As you said, we support vendors here in the U.S. and also around the world. So it's a very, very nice tool to do the configuration and provisioning of your fiber platform.
Yeah, and some of the smaller equipment providers, they don't necessarily have the slick software, and maybe it's not quite as easy to do. So I think people will see
that is.
Yeah,
that is also true. Yes.
All right. So why don't you pull up your screen and we'll take a look at that, and you can walk us through what we've got.
All right. So again, what I'm going to be doing is we're bringing up the tool right now. This is a lab environment, just so that you are aware of that. So there's not going to be a lot of real-time data that we're going to be seeing, but we're going to be able to see exactly the features and functionalities that this tool brings to you as a provider for provisioning. And again, the provisioning part is really done by TR69. And that's the beauty about this tool, is because the vendors with the fiber equipment, they're all basically supporting TR69, and this tool fits right into that category. So when you first log into the tool, as you can see, we have a couple of different views on this, and this is going to be the dashboard. So with the dashboard, it's really going to show you what is going on in the network, specifically on particular OLTs. And as you can see right now, we're looking at this one OLT, and again, it's a Huawei. As Rick had said, so there's some these vendors that they're not available in the U.S., but we do have the ability to bring these in. If you're working, especially LATAM, Latin America, this is a really big vendor down there, and it's very well received. So, we're able to look at the interfaces, so we can see what the downstream and the upstream bandwidth is. Right now we're looking, I believe this is going to be about a week's worth of data that we can see here, and it's going to tell us exactly how much bandwidth in this specific OLT was being utilized.
And so, Marty, just to clarify, what we're looking at is a lab environment, right?
That is correct.
So,
yes.
What we're going to be seeing is very limited as far as, we can't pull up equipment where it's showing actual customers. So we need some privacy here. So we're showing a lab environment.
That is
it's going to limit some of the things that we're going to see where you might see lots of stuff on a screen or a lot of data. We won't be seeing that today. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, you'll see that as we go along, and I'll explain to you and the viewers exactly what may be missing on one screen that would be displayed if it was a live environment. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, this right here is showing us the OLT, the Huawei OLT. And again, you could pick anyone that you wanted to, but again, we're going by what the lab is allowing us to because of the bandwidth that's available. So that was the bandwidth, and this is also going to show us the packages that are available for these OLTs. And when we're talking about packages, we're talking about the upstream and downstream speeds. So, 50 meg, 25 meg, and so forth. So those packages are going to be displayed here, and also from here you'll be able to see how many of these packages are being deployed right now by connected, and how many are free, how many have been terminated, how many are suspended due to maybe non-payment or something like that. So you have a really good indication right now of the packages that are available and what is being used. Down here, we look at the IP pools. So we're seeing the IP addresses that are available. And again, these IPs are all basically set up whenever you're bringing this FiberVU up and operational. There is a process, and that's what this process is. You're going to build the packages, you're going to build the IP pools, and then whenever these ONTs are being discovered, then you're able now to establish that connection whenever they are discovered. The URL for the FiberVU is going to direct that ONT into this FiberVU, and then from there, you're able to follow the process to get that ONT or that customer configured and up and operational. So again, the IP pool is right here. It's going to show us what's available. And down here, it gives us a little bit of indication about the customers and the bandwidth that is being consumed right now. And again, as you can see, this is a monthly collection. So we see the top 10, and that's both the transmit and receive. We can see the name of the customer, what we call the terminal node, or the ONT by another name. And we can also see the top 10 upstream bandwidth and the top 10 downstream bandwidth users. So again, everybody is always concerned about the utilization of the bandwidth whenever you're talking about your fiber plant. So this is a really good way of just keeping your finger on the pulse of that bandwidth utilization so that you can ensure that you're not going to cap out and maybe find out that you're not going to have enough bandwidth for this GPON port that you want to maybe add more customers or change the package on. So really good way of determining what's available. So I'm going to scroll back up. And that was our dashboard view. So again, you can go and click any OLT that you have, and it's going to be showing it up. Now, we can come down to our monitoring portion. The monitoring portion is going to be showing us the OLTs that are established and carrying traffic. And as you can see, we only have one OLT right now, and that's going to be this DASAN 581.2. So the 581.2 is showing us right away that we have 2 ONTs up and 2 ONTs down, and we have a total of 4 ONTs on this specific OLT. Now, what I can do is I hover over the bar graph here and I click on it, and it's going to give us a little bit more information concerning those ONTs and this OLT so that we can see again, how many ONTs that we have set up for this guy. And then over here, we have the package. So this is showing us the package that these ONTs are running. And if I hover over it, you can see that there's a 1 gig by 1 gig, and there's 2 ONTs that are using that package. And that's the 2 that are up right now that are in green. And again, anytime that you add any packages, this is going to basically be showing you all of the packages that, are available on this OLT. And just by hovering over it, you can see how many ONTs are utilizing different packages.
So you get a nice pie chart with different colors, and can hover over and get an idea of the most packages you have, and you can get some data by hovering over it. That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a really good way of just keeping track of your packages and stuff like that. Because again, it's important to know, the usage of your, data and packages being deployed and so forth. Down here, we show this is the chassis. So we can see that, the GPON ports, we have on port 4, we've got 2 that are in the green. And the rest of them, on port 2, we have 1 ONT that's not up and active. And port 3, we have also another one not up and active. So
I guess normally you'd see a lot more of these ports on the screen, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, most of the providers, they're doing, maybe, 8-port or 16-port GPON ports. And so this is what you're going to show whenever you're looking at this specific graph here. You'll see all those ports come up, and you'll see how many ONTs are active or not active on each one of those ports. Now what we do is that we go down to our active devices. So I click on that. And what this is doing is we're still looking at this DASAN OLT, but now I want to find out how many of these ONTs are registered, or how many are not registered, or how many are there, but, just everybody registered and not registered. So if I click on a full portion, you'll see that we have, 2 inactive and we have 1 active ONT. And on this information, we're going to see some information such as serial number, the receive level, the cable distance, and again, the last active, activity that was within this specific ONT. And again, the profile, this is going to basically be the package that we're running on it, the terminal node name, the client name, address, and again, the package is over here. And what we also do is that, we can just look and see who's registered. And again, as we can see, we have 2 ONTs that are registered. 1 is inactive and 1 is active. Okay. Now, over here, what we have is, we call it a simple subscriber registration. So this is a really good way of just bringing in a single customer. So this information would be filled in for your ONT that's coming in. The name, the client ID, where it's located at, in your network, city, country, whatever it is. The ONU, on the ONU is that we're doing it via the serial number. So whenever the ONU or ONT is discovered, it's discovered by the serial number. So it's going to populate here in this column. So right there, you choose the ONT or ONU that you want to configure or bring up active, and then you choose your package that you want to run on that specific ONU. And now the package is going to consist of, a myriad of different information, VLANs, it's going to, IPTV, voice, data, however you want to set it up. How many LAN ports is this going to have? How many voice ports and so forth? So, this is where you're going to basically have this information in your package so that you know what you're giving up on, the configurations. We have the ability to run this as a PPPoE, and this right here is the connected. So this right here is the checkbox that you say, everything looks good, boom, I'm going to run with this. And then you do an add. And that would get you up one single simple subscriber.
So that's where you're putting in, I guess you're putting 1 subscriber in manually?
Yes, sir.
And now I'm assuming there's an API in here, right? Where if you want to integrate with billing, like I think we've got, I know GLDS is a big one here in this country. I know
Yes.
GLDS is integrated. There's other ones as well, probably, that have been done.
Right. Yeah. The big one here for North America is going to be GLDS. We have integration with the FiberVU with them. There's a few other ones, I think, over in Europe. I don't know the names, but GLDS is one of them right now, and I know that we're working on other billing companies, billing systems for integration.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the simple subscriber. Now, when we're going to come down to the fiber to the X, this is where everything is really going to be kind of set up, and we're going to go through all this. Number one, you'll see is that we do have a way of showing the ONTs on a map. So if you click on the map and do the drop down, we click on map. And what it's going to do now, it's going to go and it's going to collect the data from the database, and it's going to show us where these customers are, and it's also going to show us the status of the ONTs. Granted, again, this is a lab environment, so this is just only for show. As you can see right now that we're showing all of these ONTs, they're all grayed out. And again, because of the fact that, this is just only a lab environment. But what you can do is that you can go and hover over any one of these ONTs, and you can see that they give you some information. But if I click on that, it's going to give us a little bit more information. Again, due to the fact that these are not set up, it's going to tell us, the client, the ONT, OLT, serial number, package status, and everything like that that's associated with each one of these ONT icons. So by hovering over and clicking on that, you're going to get some information concerning that.
And I guess you'll see right now we've got gray because they're not really there. And what do you get? Other colors?
Yeah. You'll have the green, you'll have the yellow, you'll have the red, just your normal, suspects, whenever it comes down to alerting you as far as the health of the network or your customer base.
Yeah.
Now, if we go over to the map data, this is where everything is set up as far as the physical name and address of where these ONTs are. So again, we can see that, the data city, Mali, and again, this is just all put in here from the lab. The data state, the street name, the terminal node address, serial number of the TN package that it's running on, and the OLT that this ONT is assigned to. So all that information is here. And at any time, you can click on any of these map informations, and it's going to give us some information concerning that. And again, the information is going to be that physical address where this ONT is residing. And as you can see, here's the lat long associated with that, so that the pins are correctly in the right location. Now you can do an add also in a map. So again, all you're doing is that you're setting up maybe another ONT that you're going to be placing out there, and you just want to have everything all set up. So you're setting up that location before it's even there yet, and you're able to do that. So this also, gives you the ability to pre-provision. So, if you know that you have, technicians that are going out, tomorrow morning, maybe today, you can start pre-provisioning those specific customers so that, all the work is done beforehand. And whenever, the ONTs are fired up and they're discovered and everything works, it's plug and play almost for that technician. So now he has more time to run to his other calls or maybe more installs in a day than just, sitting for maybe an hour at a location trying to get it configured. We also come down here, we showed the active device list. So again, this is also going to show us, who's registered, just what we saw before, what the status is, are they active, inactive? We have the full layout, how many ONTs that we're seeing here, so that we can see exactly what we have to work with when it comes down to the ONTs assigned to this OLT. The Headend. The Headend is really just only showing you where that OLT is deployed at. So if you have multiple data centers, you can put your OLTs in different data centers, but you want to know where they're located in case you do have separate data centers within an area. So now you can put down that this specific OLT, it can be at this specific address, phone number, contact, and everything like that. And again, this is how you add it. You add the headend, and it comes up, and it's going to tell you all that information as to what city or what location that OLT is going to be in. Mm-hmm. Now, we start coming down to the OLT. Now, the OLT, when we click on that, it's going to show us the different types of OLTs or all the OLTs that are connected onto the FiberVU. So as we can see right now, we have the name for the FiberVU for the OLTs or the chassis that these OLTs are in. We can see what type they are. As you can see, we have DASAN, Calix, FiberHome, Huawei, so Nokia. And so we have quite a few of the OLT manufacturers that are already in here. Then we show our IP address, the headend, or where they're located at in the network, and if they are active or if they are not active right now. So it's the same thing as looking at the OLTs and saying, okay, are they like maybe in a, are they disabled in a test state? That means that they're not active. But if they are active and they're up, we'll have that check mark.
I see BDCom. Scroll down a little further. I want to see if there's any others that are, oh, that's it. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and, I didn't post it before, but I'll go ahead and put in the description a full list of the devices, the equipment that we currently support. I'll put that in the YouTube description at some point after this broadcast today.
Okay, great. The interface. Now, what we're talking about the interface is really SNMP. So again, what we're doing is that we're giving it the name. This is the OLT, the SNMP, and can we log into that specific OLT? From remotely. So again, this is how you all set this up. And again, by adding the interface, you just go in there, you add an interface, and this is going to basically set up the user, the interface name, the SNMP, OLT, what type it is. And again, you have a drop down. Is it going to be ActiveE, GPON, VLAN? And is it loggable? So again, this is how you set that up as far as being able to log into the OLTs. Mm-hmm. The frame is really just only the name of the rack. Okay, we're calling it a frame here, but it is the rack. So if you want to basically, start naming, the equipment or the location within the data center or the headend, you can put that in here so that you know where that specific OLT is in relationship to the data center and the racks that are in there.
So you can find it later.
Exactly, exactly. And we also do the same thing with the slot. So we can see that, on a specific slot, this is the OLT, this is where it's located, or the frame that it's located at. And again, this is where we would have the telnet name and so forth. And again, just by adding this in, we can add in the slot. And again, just only a way of ensuring that you can find this OLT, if need be, if your technicians are, looking at troubleshooting or finding some kind of an issue.
Yep.
Now we're going to go down to what we call a network group. The network group is really just only a group that we put together that is going to, handle IP addresses and so forth, so that we can look at the ad, and on the ad we can see that we're going to give it a name and we're going to give it a note. But what we're going to also do is that, as you can see, if I do this, we can see that we have information concerning this name of this OLT, who created it, when was it created at, and so forth, just only some minor information. But again, this is where you're going to start setting up and putting information into a group so that you understand that, maybe geographically you want to use a network group for this portion compared to another portion, and so forth. This is where we go in to start adding our packages. So again, when I click on a package, you can see that we come up with the name, 40 by 20, and it's going to tell us information. It's 40 down, 20 meg up, how many fixed IPs it's allowed, how many private IPs, dynamic, is it NATing capable, what's our guaranteed downstream, and what's the guaranteed upstream. And again, this is where you would see your network groups coming into play here. So if any of these were assigned to a network group, it would show up right here so that you know that maybe this specific package is only going to be for that one network group. Now, to add a package, again, if you're adding more packages as you're going through, you can go in here and now, again, you give it the name, the downstream speed, the guaranteed speed, upstream, guaranteed upstream, the priority, and all the other information, fixed IPs, dynamic, is it NATable, what network group do you want it to be put into, and other information such as, RAD reply, use of limit, and so forth. So again, the most important thing is going to be what is in asterisks here, because of the fact that is what the package is really going to be relying on, is the speed package.
And here what you're doing is you're actually setting the parameters that are going to get configured, right?
That is correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is part of the portion that whenever, FiberVU is first started up, this is where you're going to go in. You're going to add all of this information into FiberVU so that it's available, so that whenever the ONTs are discovered and they hit into FiberVU, they know what package is going to be selected and they know what speed it's going to be running. Mm-hmm. The IP network, this basically is showing us what the IPs are set up like. As we can see, name of all of the OLTs, if they're PPPoE, and again, just only some information, OLT name, FiberHome tests, whatever it may be. The network group again that we are looking at, again, you can have any OLT being associated with separate network groups, and we can see what kind of a network type that we have. Is it CPE? Is it an ATA? ONU? So again, the network type is also going to be here. And last but not least, it's going to be the network. What network are these OLTs associated with in your network, and the gateway? So all of this information is going to be seen here, and from here now, again, always you can add. So you just add another IP network as you're growing, and then you just start filling this in as you're growing and adding in your IP networks.
And I see you got IPv4 and it also supports IPv6.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So if we go and do an IP network, so again, at any time you can change that to IPv6, gateway, same thing, IPv6.
Then you got to type in that really, really long, ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you got some time and you got a notepad and you can copy it.
Can you scan stuff in here? I don't know if it supports that.
No, this does not support scanning. No. Your IP pool. So this is where you're setting up your IP addresses and your pools, so that you can say that, okay, on this specific OLT, I'm going to be associated with this IP network, and this is going to be my IP addresses. I'm going to start out at 10.33.33.10. I'm going to end at 10.33.33.200. So again, all of this information is going to be set up for each one of these OLTs so that you understand what IP ranges are going to be available for that whenever you are starting to deploy, the network and ONTs are being discovered. And again, just by adding the IP pool, you're going to give it the name, the IP network, IP addresses, and so forth. As we go down, now we're going to come into what we call the optical device. The optical device is also another name for the ONT. So what we're looking at now, we're looking at the serial numbers of the ONTs that we have discovered that has come online so that you have that information. It's going to tell us whether or not they are in an active state or not by either having an X or a check mark. And we're also looking at the device type. And when we're talking about device type, we're talking about the ONT model, basically. So all this information will be shown here. And again, what you can also do is that whenever you're setting this up, you can put the port, the ONU ID, port index, and so forth, the OLT number, and if it does have any RF capabilities. So again, looking at the ad, we can see exactly what options or what we have that we can put in here, such as serial number, device type. All of that information is now in place so that it's ready for your ONTs to come online. So again, it's like pre-provisioning that you can do here. The type, this is all just only going to show us the different types of ONTs or ONUs that we have. As again, we give them the name, the model of that ONT, who's the manufacturer, and again, it's going to break it down, telling us that, are we TR69? How many Ethernet ports? How many phone lines? IPTV? Is it fiber to the home? All that information now can be set up for this specific models or different device types. And again, just by going into add, we're going to add a device type, and we can sit there and say where this is how it's going to be set up. Again, we give it a name, the manufacturer, how many ports, how many phone lines, MAC management, VoIP, MAC VoIP increments, and MAC IPTV. So again, and if you're using any type of radius service. So again, this is where you're just starting to set up everything. So whenever the ONT is coming online, it knows that, hey, I'm only going to be allowed, 4 ports, or something, or maybe, I'm only going to have 1 port that's going to be active on this specific model. Then we come to the model, and it's going to tell us how many, the name of the model, the manufacturer of this specific model of the ONT, active ONTs are right now that are in the network, and the date that this was all created, so that you have that as a reference also. Terminal node. This is really going to show us the information concerning the ONTs whenever it comes down to where they're located at and so forth. So we can see that this name, test name, who was hooked by, that's who added it. That's going to show up here, when it was added, what the client is or what the OLT, the package that it's running, the status, if it's operational or if it's connected. And right now you can see that we have a couple that are and some that are connected. Again, the location of this ONT, serial number, TR69, and to-do. Now, I haven't gone over to to-do, but to-do is just only basically a place for notation. If you want to put a note on there saying, hey, this is the VP of the company, so please, make sure that this thing never goes down. And what we can also do is that we can also do, I'll show you. So this is where you add your terminal nodes again. You add your terminal node. This is going to give you all the information as to, city, number, any information, contact, all that information that you really need whenever you're setting up a customer database for your ONTs. Then we can go and we can do a database search. So if you're looking for a specific ONT or something, what you can do a search by either the IP address or by the MAC address. So once you have that information, you can find that out, and it's going to bring us right to that ONT, and you can see where it's located at, and you can find out, if you get a report that, hey, I got a customer that is down. Now, okay, so you get that information, you can know the IP address. So now you can do a search, and you can, see if it is down, why is it down? What happened? Maybe it's for non-payment or something to that effect. But at least now you have the ability to dive right into the serial number or the MAC address and pull up that customer.
Mm-hmm.
What we have here is issued Fix IPs. So again, we're looking at any type of any ONTs that have a fixed IP address. So this right here is going to be shown so that you understand what ONTs are going to be static and which ones are dynamic. And here is our to-do. So this is where you would go in and you would start up, a to-do list. Basically, just only saying, hey, additional info, something that you want to set up, that is going to pertain to the OLT itself. So going down here, now this is just only some other information. It's going to basically just tell us some IP addresses. And this is all taken from, whenever we set everything up, of the OLT, what IP address the Huawei OLT, the different OLTs, and again, what IP addresses that they are holding at this time. Then we have our users. This is where you're going to set up your users, give them access into the tool. And each one of these users, you do have the ability to give them certain permissions, what you're allowing them to do. So if you have a brand new worker that just, is in a training period, you just only want to maybe give them just only read-only rights or something to that. You don't want them to give them the ability to make any changes or anything like that.
The same maybe for CSRs, that you don't want them to be able to turn something off. And yeah.
Absolutely. And this is where we come in with the permissions.
So actually, that's an interesting thing, because a lot of times with these element management systems that you have some as equipment, it's not real friendly for CSRs, and then it gives them a little bit too much power. So a lot of times it's just restricted to engineers. Yeah,
and exactly. Because you don't want to have a CSR really going in or make any changes on the network. That's a recipe for disaster.
But it's nice to give them the access to be able to see if the device is up or down, and
that is exactly right. So again, what we have, just so I'll click on. Well, let me just do an ad, and you can see exactly what parameters are really available. So you would give the name, say maybe CSR. Then you would just only read. Mm-hmm. Then, you have them the ability to check off any of these that you want to, have them the ability to, set, so you can add or delete, certain information with this specific user permissions. So again, this is all the information that you have available for each one of your users. And from here, you can determine whether or not you want to give them that permission or not as you go down.
And very flexible,
Yeah, very flexible. Then we have the client. The client, again, is referring to the OLTs. So again, as you'll see, we have the name of the OLT and so forth. Then we can add the client. And from here, we give it the name, address, and so forth, where it's going to be. Then as we go down, everything else, we have the city, the street, the manufacturer. This is just only stuff that you can put into this if you want to. It's not necessary, but if you're looking at, keeping track of the ONT and knowing where it resides at in your network, this is important. But the manufacturer, if you care about the manufacturer, yes, maybe
contact info,
There you go. There you go. Now, if you only have one manufacturer or one vendor that you're utilizing in your network, it's up to you. It's if you want to do it or not. Your supplier. This is also information for you as a provider, so that you know that, hey, where do I get this stuff from? Okay, well, here's my OLT and stuff like that, and I can get my emails. I can, I have a phone number to contact them on and so forth like that. So again, this is something that you would look at whenever you're just only looking at your supplier and your information, to make an order or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And the VoIP provider. So again, this goes hand in hand. if you're utilizing an outside VoIP provider, you can show that here. And again, just by showing the information on the OLTs, the IP address, and again, what we can do is that we can show all that information right here as far as your VoIP is concerned whenever it comes down to setting up the VoIP profile. And down here, there's other stuff, but right now, the most important thing really to take away from this is whenever you're setting this all up, this fiber to the X is the portion that you're really going to be setting up and supplying the data so that whenever the ONTs are coming online, again, they're going to be directed to this FiberVU tool, and from there, that's when it's all going to be downloaded with all the configurations and then stood up online and deployed in the network, and your customer satisfaction begins.
All right.
I don't think that there's really anything else to add into this. This is pretty much just a nice high-level overview, Rick. So turn it back over to you.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks.
All right.
You can stop sharing there.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Marty. I appreciate it. And so again, just to kind of reiterate, this is a system. If you are a fiber operator, especially if you're somewhere in maybe another country where you've got equipment that you don't have a good provisioning system, you don't have a way to maybe get a good insight into your fiber network, this is something that you can get. And especially again, if you've got different types of vendors in your network, then you can see everybody in one interface. And by being able to do that, you can take advantage of, you're not locked into a manufacturer, so you can take advantage of looking at new equipment, maybe some less expensive equipment as prices go down. So you get some leverage there.
Absolutely. And then again, like you're saying, now you have the opportunity of multi-vendors in your network.
Yeah.
So you're not stuck to one vendor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So Marty, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking us through that. Thank you everybody for watching. So if you're not subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified when I'm live. Click the like if this was helpful or interesting. If you click the like button in YouTube, I appreciate it. And if you're interested in this, reach out to us. You see our web address there and our email address and our phone number. That's I probably should have put because again, we might get some calls from Europe. And I don't think that 800 number works. So I will put that in the comments as well. If anyone wants to reach out to us where they can call internationally. But again, thanks, Marty. I appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching. I will be back tomorrow with broadband deployment news at some point during the day. Those are not done at a specific time. So just, again, if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification, but be looking for that. I don't know what the topic is yet, but I will be live again tomorrow for broadband deployment news. Thanks again, Marty. And
thank you, Rick.
Yeah. And thank everybody else for watching. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.